trying to get to, and keep in mind that you can use found imagery on this as well instead of using drawn imagery, which could be very, very cool. So it doesn't have to be something that you draw. It could be something that you find and then you glue onto the paper and then cut it out. So that could be another way to do this, something to think about. So the first thing you want to do is get your image drawn and colored in. I would say no more than 5 colors. All right, I went a little crazy here, but that's all right. Okay, and so we always want to start from the back first, always. And you want to do what I call like a carbon transfer first, where you basically use the graphite of your pencil to create a ground, which then you can use to pick up your drawing. It's called what we call a poor man's transfer. There's also this stuff called like graphite paper that you can use, or carbon paper rather, carbon paper. But we're in COVID and I don't have access to those supplies to give to you right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is for level 7. Now you can see here I already drew a line coming through the trees, and that's okay, and through the smoke, because what I want to do, and I'm including the sun for a reason, you'll see in just a moment, the sun's going to cover that up, okay? I'm going to cut 2 of those out. It's okay to think about, like, the trees are going to cover that up. The sun is actually going to cover it. The smoke is going to cover it. So it's okay for your first layer to just cover that whole swath of the area, not to worry about anything that's going to go over top of it. Now I'm going to do 2 layers of this. Now I'm going to do 1 layer of this. Whoops. Ooh, sorry, that's my cat. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Make sure you have a cardboard, like a backing, that you can cut on top of so that you're not cutting through your paper. More layers than you need to. And then when you cut, you should always try to cut like going toward yourself and moving it, or move your body so that you can manipulate yourself. It's kind of hard to cut on an angle like that, so it's always a good idea to turn your paper and then cut it. Okay. Now you'll see under there that I already actually have that kind of colored in there. And let me just rip this out. Okay. I did a little mess up on my first one, but that's okay. All right. So you can color it before or after you do this. Doesn't really matter, but it does help. Okay. The next step that we're going to do is put your cardboard here again. A fresh sheet of paper. Make sure you have ample amount of stuff, so if you screw up, you can just rip off a page. Okay, because you might screw up. Then I'm going to now, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down to, I'm going to just draw this here, and I'm going to cut around it. I'm not going to cut the bottom of the sun. Okay, so that's something to think about. So what I just did here, kind of hard for you to see it, but it is there. I'm going to cut everything but the bottom of that out. And that's something that you just want to keep remembering. You're not cutting the bottom of that shape for that layer out. I'm working top down. Now, depending on your image, you may have to, think a little differently. And that's the challenge of this. It's a good challenge. Okay. So take that out. And I'm going to color that in with my yellow for my sun. And you see that. Okay, next one, we are going to cut out for level 5. We're going to cut out everything but this bottom line. Okay, so you'll see. It'll make sense to you eventually. Cut this out here. So we're basically cutting out the sun, and so this whole area is just going to get cut out. I'm not even addressing the bottom. So same thing for this sun. I did not cut the bottom out. Same thing for this level. I'm not cutting the bottom of this little hill out. I'm not going to color this right now because I just kind of want to go fast enough so I can show you. Okay, so the next step, no, you know what? I will color it. Why not? It'll just be easier for you to understand. Okay, all right, next one. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to trace everything for level 4 except for the bottom. Okay, so this time I can draw through anything that's standing on top. That's fine. Once you get going, it actually makes a lot of sense, but getting started with your image, I think, is probably the hardest part. Oh, make sure you always put your cutting guard in there. And like I said, this could be very nice with found imagery as well. Maybe I'll do a separate demo for that. But I think once you get it, you get it. Okay, this is the next light color. This is for, oops, I didn't realize I'm out of the frame. Sorry about that. See if we can zoom out a little bit. I'm not worried about coloring neatly right now. I just want to get the image together. Okay. Okay. Next one. So we just did 4. Now we're going to do 3. Okay, so once again, you are tracing everything but the bottom of number 3. So you're just drawing to the top of it. Okay, you can draw through the house. Okay, that's going to be this color green for level 3. Just going to color the whole thing. Next, I'm going to do the trees. Now, something to think about with those trees. Actually, no, you don't have to. Actually, no, you do have to think about this with the trees. Okay, so when you're doing the trees, like when I drew these trees, notice that I have this coming here. If I was to cut these trees coming all the way down here to here, I'm gonna basically lose a lot of material. So I don't want to do that. So what I'm gonna do now is just, and you'll see what I mean. So now I'm just tracing those trees in. And actually, I'm not cutting the trees out as much as I'm cutting everything else out. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring this down here. So I'm thinking like it may look like I'm cutting the trees, but I want the trees to stay. So I'm actually going to make this connect up here a little bit closer. It's okay over here because it has a connection here, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So I'm cutting everything but the trees. So it's important that you get that edge and that edge too, because what I'm cutting now is all of that. Careful not to like cut all the way through there because I'm not cutting the trees out. I want the trees to stay intact. And that's what you have to keep telling yourself. Okay, what am I actually cutting away? If I want the trees to be there, don't cut them out. You're going to want to. But that's why I made this video, so that hopefully you can learn from me at least a little bit. I didn't have any good instructional video on this. I just kind of made it up. Okay, now don't forget to cut the top out. And there you go, you got your trees. Okay. Go ahead and assign that color value. Better if you actually had a smooth surface under there, as opposed to taking up that texture from the under layers. Okay. All right. Next up, we have make sure you can see that better. Now you have the house. Okay, the house on the hill. So once again, you're cutting away everything but the house. Okay, so now we want to actually cut away. Oh, you know what? For this, I'm going to do 2 layers for this house because I want to show you how to do windows. Oops, maybe not. Nope, maybe not. Well, no, I can do that. That's why I have extra paper. Oh no, that's all. Let's see if I have a piece here. Yeah, I do. Okay, sorry, bear with me. I'll try to edit this out. Okay. All right, so I want to have 2 pieces. 1, 2. Perfect. I want to show you how to do windows in that house. Sometimes you can do, sometimes you can bang out more than 1 layer in a sense. You'll see by cutting out several layers. Okay, now keep in mind I'm cutting out everything but the house because I want the house to stay there. All right, that's there. Okay. Just so I can see what I'm cutting. Okay, just so you can see. Okay. I'm doing, how many layers of this? I'm doing 3 layers. That's cool. That way I can maybe do the hill. You see what I mean? Happy accident that I have 3 layers because I can make that work for my benefit. So always keep your non-cutting hand away from the blade. And if you're cutting through many layers and you want to like turn yourself, doing curves are the hardest. Having a sharp blade will really make all the difference in the world there. So if it's not going through easily, you may need to get a new blade. At this point, you probably should just only have new blades, so careful. Make sure I get that right for this next layer. Oh no, I wanted to cut out everything but that. Okay, so I'll edit that out. Great. Okay. Try that again. Okay. Now, don't forget, we're cutting everything but the house out. So make sure you draw that boundary. Okay. So I know why that didn't work. I need to connect this. I need to connect this back to the side so that when this gets cut out, I'm not losing it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to extend my hill. So that this paper is going to hold it together. Okay, so what I'm going to, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'll show you where I'm going to, this might be something for you to do, is to think about, this is the part I'm cutting. Okay, if I had done it down here, then this would have not been there, and so this whole thing would just kind of flop out. And so that's what I would have experienced. So thankfully I caught that in time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure you move your hand out of the way. this last page is loose. So I ran out of pages. But what I could do here is I could actually cut that out so that the smoke is sitting underneath that, right? And then I could also do the windows. You know what? I'll just have to draw those in. No biggie. And I'll just do 3 windows so I'm not here all day. Okay, now we're cooking. There's that. And then my house and my hill. So I had to make some adjustments. I had to extend that over. But you get the idea. So made a few mistakes along the way, to be expected with something this complex. Trust me, you don't want to do something this complex for your practice. Do something a little easier. Although the more complex you do, the better you will get and the more you'll understand. And here I got smoke. I could just kind of, just to show that it's gray. Voila. And we've got it. It went from here to here. And this would just need to kind of get taped down, but honestly, not bad. Thank you for listening and watching, and good luck to you.